Today I wanted to share with you my first experience with oil paints. I am so sorry that I didn't record the first part of this, but honestly I thought that it would turn out terrible and I wasn't planning on using it, but here I am. For the first time using oil paints, it seemed like my brush was just sliding all over the canvas and making it harder to work on these details that I wanted. When I was thinking about this, it reminded me that a lot of famous oil painters that I like are impressionistic. So they're just painting with minimal brush strokes to give the impression of what is there. And this I just love, and I hope I can develop it over time. But it's very hard for me just to like look at something and see it in just a simple form with just like the highlights and the shadows. But I'm just trying to constantly train my eye to do that, and I've noticed that it is a lot easier to do that when I'm painting things from life. Working on this painting right here, I realized I made a couple of mistakes. After a couple of days of just setting it down, when you go back and you look at something, you realize, oh no, this is so wrong. But I have to pull this wall here and just kind of even out the dimensions of this back ceiling here, because it's supposed to be like you're kind of looking up at the figure. So I have to go back in, pull up this wall, and then I also just want to add a lot more detail because right now it just seems kind of bland, and I love when I get a picture and there's just so many things that draws your eyes, not just the figure. I love like designs and everything in the background. So I'm gonna go in and try to fix that today, and then hopefully I will be done. My crazy messy palette. Gotta clean this thing up. What even is this? Coming from acrylics, I'm used to such a short drying time, but this summer my apartment is just so hot that they almost dry too fast for me. I'll put them on my palette, and then even before I get to use them, sometimes they're all dried up, so I was using so much paint. But I've always wanted to try oils, so I figured that this would be the perfect time for it. Because the oils take a while to dry, I tried to use that to my advantage when I was painting the portrait, and it really helped just to like blend the colors. However, when I got to the background, I had a lot of trouble. The first wall that I painted with the flowers, I painted it with a solid color, and while it was still wet, I went over to paint the flowers, and all the colors kind of mixed around and the paint just like slid around. So going into the ceiling and the other wall, I knew that I needed some plan or some idea to approach it better. I had to decide if I wanted to paint the first layer and then wait a day or two to paint the circles over it, or if I just wanted to paint the circles and then very carefully paint the solid background color around. And honestly, I wasn't quite sure which one would be better. But when I was painting the ceiling, I had to be very precise and careful not to touch the new wet paint with the paint that was already on the canvas, so that it didn't mix and produce a muddy color. Even though I planned out the ceiling, for some reason I did not plan out the last wall, and I had no idea what to do. And at this point I should have just taken a break, but I kept going, I kept painting, and it was terrible. It looked like a weird flag or something, but in the end I just ended up painting a funny looking bird, and for now I kind of like it. I may go back and change it later. When painting this, I was making a lot of mistakes, but looking back, I realized just how much I learned, and I had to make those mistakes to learn how to improve. And it was so good to have this practice of just using the oil paints. thank you so much for being here and experiencing my first oil painting with me. I am so excited to try again. But that is all I have for you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.